We are back on Taking Care of Business on Koerner Radio, News Talk 1180, 1230 KGEO, and 1410 KERI. Our guest by phone, Wayne Allyn Root.
Big supporter of Obama.
Yeah, 2008 Libertarian Vice President.
Hey, by the way, you want to know why I'm not a big supporter of Obama? It's really quite simple. I have nothing against the guy personally. As a matter of fact, I've only told this story once or twice. You'll be maybe the second or third person to ever hear it in the media. On the night he won, as much as I dislike him and his policies, there were some tears in my eyes. I may dislike the guy. I may hate everything he stands for. But the fact that this great country elected a black man president of the United States, to me, was an incredible thing and an achievement. You know, I couldn't stand the guy. I wanted him to lose. But as long as he did win, there was a tear in my eyes because I said, you know, we are a great people. So I'm certainly not a guy who dislikes him personally. I think he's a nice father, a good husband. His daughters seem wonderful, and I'm sure they love him to death. And you can never dislike a guy too much who's a good dad and a good father, like I am with 4 kids. Yeah. So it's not like I hate him personally, but I'm a businessman.
Yep.
And he's driving me out of business.
No question about it.
That's a personal attack. That's a terrible thing. And he sicked the IRS on so many people I know who are Romney supporters or Romney contributors or Obama critics. It is so sad and so, you'd almost use the word evil to think that this man would be using the IRS as a political tool to take revenge on his opponents. And not only that, but if he simply wants money and he's coming after all the rich people of America with the IRS,
sure,
that's going to stop you from doing business. And therefore, how are you going to create jobs and turn the economy around?
Yeah.
So if you're wondering why things are bad in the economy, it's just so simple. Obama, he's making them bad.
Wayne, we got to have you back for the whole hour, but I want to make one comment before we go on. I'm a dual citizen. I was born in Canada, and I kept my Canadian citizenship when I took my American citizenship out. But when you take out American citizenship, you have to relinquish the other country. So
right.
America doesn't recognize my Canadian citizenship. My Canadian citizenship recognizes my American. It's funny how it works. So there's no way looking at who accepts it and who doesn't. He could take that citizenship out without relinquishing his American citizenship. So,
well, as I said to those 2 lawyers, last thing I'll say about this topic, as I said to those 2 lawyers, besides that, let's just say you prove me wrong and somehow legally he kept his American citizenship and therefore he's qualified to be president. Guess what? If he unseals his records, or I force him to unseal his records, public pressure forces him, and everybody in America gets to see for the first time that I'm right, that he went to college as a foreign national, he's never going to be reelected as president of the United States. Doesn't matter if I could kick him out of office or make him resign or get him impeached. He cannot be reelected if the proof comes out. The average American will not accept, maybe the average Democrat will, but the average independent and Republican will never accept a foreign national in 1983 being president of the United States. It would be shocking if that comes out, and most people would say that's not right. Most people in the Midwest, I think, good people of all parties, would say that's just not right. We can't have that man as president of the United States. He's a fraud.
So what public is going to come out against him?
You said what public?
Yeah, what public? Are the newspapers?
Well, that's the problem. I mean, you know, I got incredible publicity on all the biggest conservative media personalities in America, but now ask me if anyone in the mainstream media gave a single phone call. I had over 60 interviews last week, 60. Not one of them was with anything but conservative talk radio like you. There was no ABC, no NBC, no CBS, no PBS. There was no newspaper. Not even my local Vegas paper gave a phone call, because all of that media is controlled by liberals that love and idolize Barack Obama and bow down at his feet, and they won't get involved in it. So that aspect of public pressure is not going to come. It's got to be pressure from the average American, you know, who rises up and says, hey, call the White House, phone the White House, call ABC, call NBC, ask them why they're not investigating this. There's got to be someone that forces the mainstream media to get involved.
We are having a conversation with Wayne Allyn Root, classmate of Barack Obama and 2008 Libertarian VP candidate. Let's move on to another subject. You just did a recent article on Paul Ryan. I kind of agree with you. My first pick was Rubio. At first I thought it would have been a better pick, but I think Paul Ryan was a brilliant pick. What do you think?
Yeah, that's what I wrote about, that I was disappointed because I really wanted Rubio. I do think, by the way, as an aside, as an analyst, not an endorsement, but as an analyst, if the Republican Party is to remain viable or to even be dominant over the next, say, 16 years, they're going to have to find a way to get minority votes. You can't be a white man's party in the United States of America in the year 2012. You got to go after certainly Hispanic votes, if not black votes. And Marco Rubio is the secret weapon to do that. And there are many others. Susana Martinez, the governor of New Mexico, female Hispanic governor. There's quite a few out there, rising stars in the GOP that are minorities that would be helpful. But I thought it would be smart to start right now. Don't delay another day. Go after the Hispanic vote and compete hard for it as a conservative movement can, in fact, attract Hispanics. That was my belief as an analyst, and I thought it would have been a great move. But in retrospect, I do think Paul Ryan turned out to be a very good choice. He's making it very clear to everyone that Romney's serious about the debt and serious about cutting spending and cutting government. And he's making it very clear that the choice is either cut spending, cut government, so we don't become Greece, or the choice is go with Obama and become Greece. Does anyone think the Greece option worked? The headline in today's paper, I just got it right before you called, today's Las Vegas Review-Journal, thousands of people have been committing suicide in Greece because they're out of money, and they have no money to even buy their next meal, and they're jumping off roofs and killing themselves. Thousands. That's what the headline says. I'm not making this up. That's the cover of the Vegas paper. That's the kind of pain that's about to happen in countries all over Europe. You're going to see the same thing in Spain and Italy, in Portugal, and eventually I believe the biggest one to fall is going to be France. France is in as bad shape as Spain, Italy, and Greece, and you're going to see people committing suicide and a Great Depression throughout Europe. Why? Because they run Europe the exact same way Obama wants to run America. So if you want to prevent this from happening, it's very clear. You got to cut spending and cut government. Paul Ryan may be the face, the clearest, strongest face in America about cutting spending and cutting government.
Well, I'm voting for hope and change this year. But for a different hope and change.
Yeah, I get it. Listen, I said 4 years ago that I agree with Obama. There will be change. Unfortunately, it'll be the 5 cents left in your pocket. I said that 4 years ago, and I was so on the money. I said there's going to be no money left in this economy if you elect a guy who is A, socialist, very obviously Marxist and socialist, and B, how about if we just assume Wayne's wrong? He's not socialist. He's just incompetent. He's never run a business in his life. He's never invested in a business. He doesn't know anything about raising money for a business. He doesn't know how you run a business. He doesn't know how you make payrolls. He doesn't know anything. How do you elect a community organizer to be the CEO of the American economy and not expect these results?
Entitlements.
Entitlements, exactly, yeah.
Well, it's the food stamp economy. Him and Pelosi, they actually say things that lead you to believe that in their minds they actually are delusional. They believe that food stamps are an economy.
Yeah,
they believe handing people money works.
It's okay to lie, too.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that goes without saying. You know, you made a comment in that article on Paul Ryan. Well, first of all, one thing that I keep on thinking about in the next couple of months, I can't wait until Biden and Paul Ryan debate.
Yeah, what I said was I didn't know much about Paul Ryan, and that was my biggest critique of him, by the way, and it still is. I think, the whole country was excited about Rubio. Nobody knows who Paul Ryan is. I asked my own wife. She said, who's Paul Ryan?
Well, see,
I asked my daughter who goes to Harvard. She said, yeah, I know him. He's a congressman, but I don't know anything about him.
Yes.
So nobody knows the guy, but that doesn't mean once you get to know him, you won't love him.
No,
and so I YouTubed him. And there he is debating the biggest Democrats in America, including Obama, and just destroying them. Because, they're all full of hot air. They don't know anything about facts. They know nothing about the budget. Folks, the President of the United States, Barack Obama, doesn't know anything about the budget. He's a salesman. That's it. Paul Ryan is like the world's greatest accountant or CFO. He knows every line of the budget. So he schooled Obama on YouTube about Obamacare so badly that when it was over, Obama looked like a little boy who'd just been told to go to the corner.
Yeah.
That's how bad it was. So, in the end, if this guy debates any Democrat, I think the Democratic Party will just fall apart.
I agree. Wayne, you made a comment. This is a good segue here. You made a comment about they should have Ryan be Obama's shadow. What did you mean by that?
Well, that was what Rush Limbaugh raved about on his program yesterday, that Wayne Root is a genius and that Paul Ryan should be, in fact, the Republican Party should listen to Wayne and make Paul Ryan his shadow. I think the role of Paul Ryan should be to follow Obama around, get a schedule, which is public knowledge, and just wherever Obama goes, send Paul Ryan the next day. Maybe even the same day.
That's what
Maybe
Gingrich is going to do.
Have a Republican event following the Democratic event, so you get on the same evening news, compare the two of them next to each other, and you'll find the smartest guy in the room is definitely Paul Ryan. Stop this fraud that Obama's the smartest guy in the world. He's not smart at all. He's a really good talker when there's teleprompter up on the screen, and other people write what he's saying. By the way, so I don't think he's the smartest guy in the room by any stretch. I think Paul Ryan is, and so I would just let him follow Obama around the country every time Obama has a rally. Make sure you have Republicans there to listen and tape record what he says, and then either hours later or the next day, have Paul Ryan rebut every single word that Obama says. He'll rip them to shreds.
Yeah, I agree. Wayne, unfortunately, we're out of time. We got to have you back for the full hour. That would be fun.
Anytime, guys. So just remember my website, because all my commentaries will be there, including my updates on this Obama-Columbia scandal. Root4America.com. That's ROOT 4 FOR America.com.
Wayne, thank you so much for the time, and definitely we'll talk to you soon.
You got it. Thanks, guys. God bless.
We'll be back in a moment on Taking Care of Business on Koerner Radio News Talk 1180.